Welcome back to TypeSpec 101. I'm Mario Guerra, the TypeSpec product manager at Microsoft. In this video, we're going to focus on reusing common parameters in your REST API. As the name implies, common parameters are parameters that are used across multiple operations. By defining these parameters once and reusing them everywhere we need them, we can make our API more consistent, easier to read, and easier to maintain. If you'd like to follow along with the tutorial sessions, you can download the session files from aka.ms/typespec101/files. This will give you access to the end result of changes made to main TSP for each video. You can easily cut and paste from these files to follow along and implement the changes as we go through the tutorials. Let's start by defining a model for our common parameters that we'll use across all our pet store operations. We're defining this parameters model within our pet store namespace, so every operation within this namespace will have access to this model. For demonstration purposes, we're going to require each API call in our pet store service to include a request ID, a locale value, and a client version. Let's define a model for these common parameters. In this example, the header decorator is used to indicate that request ID and client version are header parameters, while the query decorator indicates that locale is a query parameter. Now that we've defined our common parameters model, let's reuse these common parameters across all our pet store operations. It's as easy as that. We've added our common parameters model to all our pet store operations using the spread operator, which is the ... you see before the model name. The spread operator tells the TypeSpec compiler to expand the model definition inline, so the common parameters get applied to all the operations. To be clear, the spread operator can be used to expand any model inline, not just the common parameters I'm demonstrating here. Let's see how these common parameters show up in the OpenAPI specification. As you can see, the common parameters are included in the parameters section of the operations with references to the parameter definitions in the component section. Reusing common parameters offers several key benefits. First, it ensures consistency across your API. By defining common parameters once and reusing them over and over, you make sure that every relevant operation uses the same format and structure. Second, it speeds up development time and improves maintainability. Imagine you need to update a parameter. Maybe you want to change its name or even add a new parameter. Instead of updating each operation individually, you just make the change in one place, in this case the common parameters model, and have those changes applied to every operation where it's used. This reduces redundancy and minimizes the risk of introducing bugs. By now, I hope you're realizing that code reuse is a big part of what makes TypeSpec ideal for API generation. It allows you to define things once and reuse them across your entire API, making your development process more efficient and your API more consistent and maintainable. And that's it for reusing common parameters in your REST API using TypeSpec. We've covered why common parameters are beneficial, how to define them, and how to reuse them across multiple operations. In the next video, we'll learn how to add authentication to our REST API.